The movie commences on the picturesque island of Malta, where a sizable community, revered by many Maltese residents, is under the leadership of an elderly man named Bubalo. Considered akin to a deity by many, Bubalo's influence extends to the establishment of unique rules and appointed leaders within the community. Recently, an intruder managed to infiltrate Bubalo's quarters, prompting the elderly leader to seek answers. Despite the efforts of one of his aides, the elusive culprit evaded capture, leaving Bubalo deeply perturbed by the incident. Infuriated, Bubalo reacted strongly towards his aide, who failed to apprehend the intruder. Amid this tension, Bubalo's sister, Anna, arrived with crucial information. She presented a photograph and details about a woman named Yuki, also known as Lady Death, who hailed from Japan and allegedly worked for America. Bubalo, determined to get to the bottom of the threat against him, urgently instructed everyone to locate Yuki. This directive propelled the narrative to Los Angeles, where we encounter two individuals, Zero and Brandon, former CIA operatives now navigating a different path. Engaging in high-stakes government assignments, Brandon excels with a sniper rifle, while Zero exhibits exceptional close combat skills. Promptly called upon by their superior, Robert, the head of the CIA who often turns to Zero and Brandon for complex assignments, the duo withdraws to a hidden refuge. Robert presents them with a new mission, a rescue operation in Malta for a woman known as Lady Death, currently entangled in a perilous situation. Bubalo is fervently chasing a woman, and intriguingly, Zero and Brandon have a strong bond with her. She's like family to them. In a clandestine meeting with Robert, the head of the CIA, they learn about Lady Death's recent mission in Mexico, where she was tasked with handling Bubalo. However, ominous silence surrounds Lady Death, prompting Robert to assign Zero and Brandon a new mission: head to Malta, locate Lady Death, and confront Bubalo and his associates. The prospect of rescuing their friend adds fervor to the mission. Before their departure, Robert drops one more bombshell. They must eliminate Bubalo's 5 closest allies, including Anna. Success in this covert operation promises an easier path to reaching Bubalo and securing Lady Death. Eager to embark on this critical mission, Brandon and Zero swiftly depart for Malta. Upon landing, they discreetly navigate their way to Bubalo's imposing residence. Brandon positions himself at a distance, poised for sniper precision, while Zero prepares for the impending encounter. Infiltrating disguised as one of the guards, Zero benefits from the fortuitous timing of Bubalo's extravagant party. Blending seamlessly into the festivities, Zero easily locates Fava, one of Bubalo's key associates, and smoothly convinces him that Bubalo wishes to confer on the rooftop. Simultaneously, Brandon identifies Lady Death outdoors, but refrains from taking the shot due to her vigilant escort. Zero's next move leads him to Katrina, another close associate of Bubalo. Employing the same ruse as with Fava, he persuades her to join a meeting with Bubalo on the rooftop. Falling for the deception, Katrina promptly ascends to the designated location. Meanwhile, Brandon identifies Musket, another of Bubalo's associates, in the restroom. Acting swiftly, Brandon eliminates Musket with a single decisive shot. Tasking Zero with handling the aftermath, Brandon proceeds with strategic efficiency. With Fava and Katrina now on the rooftop, Brandon wastes no time, aligning his sniper shot with precision. In one swift motion, both targets are neutralized, leaving only 2 adversaries remaining in their mission. In the realm of remaining adversaries, Anna and Dr. Zoran posed formidable challenges. Brandon cleverly diverted Anna's attention by aiming at the ground, seizing the moment to swiftly neutralize her. Meanwhile, Zero stealthily approached Dr. Zoran, setting the stage for a tense standoff. Lady Death intervened, surprising everyone by revealing Dr. Zoran as an ally, promising explanations later. As they hastily exited the palace, a guard appeared, swiftly dispatched by Zero. Bubalo's attempt to address his followers was abruptly halted. With Bubalo incapacitated, the quartet, Zero, Lady Death, Dr. Zoran, and Brandon, decided to regroup. Seeking refuge in a beachside church, they awaited Robert's urgent message as the evening unfolded. Elated after successfully rescuing Lady Death and neutralizing Bubalo and his gang, Robert advised them to unwind and return to America the following day. Lady Death then revealed her covert mission, posing as an entertainer to dismantle Bubalo. However, Anna's unexpected betrayal left her riddled with bullets. Dr. Zoran, harboring a secret disdain for Bubalo, intervened, hiding Lady Death and tending to her wounds. Grateful for this courageous act, Brandon and Zero expressed their appreciation. The night unfolded with shared stories, and the group retired to rest. The next morning, surprises awaited. Brandon's Jeep and Dr. Zoran were both conspicuously absent. Dr. Zoran, it seemed, had a different agenda, opting for a casual drive to a cafe with Brandon's Jeep. Adding to the intrigue, Dr. Zoran didn't just take off with Brandon's suitcase, including his laptop and crucial files. He also vanished with a purpose. Unbeknownst to him, Zero was stealthily tucked in the back of the Jeep, and upon Dr. Zoran's departure, Zero discreetly shadowed him. Observing from a vantage point near a cafe, Zero promptly contacted his tech-savvy ally, Pete, renowned for his secret agent-level computer skills. Zero enlisted Pete to uncover Dr. Zoran's motives, especially regarding the sensitive information on Brandon's laptop. Within no time, Pete unveiled a nefarious plot. Dr. Zoran had covertly copied confidential data and intended to barter it with an individual named Prince Caspian. Armed with this revelation, Zero swiftly informed Brandon and Lady Death, unveiling a clandestine rendezvous location. As the plot thickened, Zero trailed Dr. Zoran to an eerie, dilapidated building, maintaining the suspense. Both Brandon and Lady Death stood poised, guns in hand, ready for the impending exchange with the eager Prince Caspian. Dr. Zoran, the dubious middleman, surrendered the phone containing the classified information. The plot took an unexpected turn when Lady Death, stealthily concealed beneath Caspian's car, took a shot at him. Astonishingly, Caspian managed to evade her, absconding with the incriminating phone. Dr. Zoran, however, wasn't as fortunate, succumbing to Lady Death's precise aim. After the intense encounter, the trio, Brandon, Zero, and Lady Death, sought refuge at a city motel. Amid a breather, Lady Death unraveled a shocking revelation. Caspian was her adoptive father. Despite taking her in after her parents' demise, Caspian subjected her to a traumatic childhood, confining her in darkness for months before grooming her into a lethal hitwoman. Lady Death's life had unfolded from a vulnerable 10-year-old to a formidable 15-year-old assassin, entangled in Caspian's treacherous world. A decade later, Lady Death, tired of Prince Caspian's violent vendettas, attempted to dispose of him, but he proved resilient. Meanwhile, Caspian returned to his apartment, seemingly secure, until Anna, who once narrowly escaped a bullet from Brandon, appeared with probing questions. Anna sought answers about Caspian and Dr. Zoran's betrayal of her Bubalo sect, and was determined to locate Lady Death and her associates who had disrupted her group. Caspian clarified that his focus was on apprehending Lady Death, not undermining the Bubalo sect. However, he inadvertently revealed a powerful tracking phone capable of monitoring Lady Death's every move. Recognizing an opportunity, Anna proposed an alliance, envisioning a joint effort to bring down Lady Death and her crew. With the newfound alliance established, Anna geared up to pursue Lady Death, armed with the tracking device. In the morning, Anna's adept sidekick, working alongside Caspian, pinpointed Lady Death's location at a cafe with Zero and Brandon. Swiftly launching an attack, the sidekick, akin to a ninja, eluded capture before the trio could retaliate. Left perplexed by this mysterious assailant, Lady Death, Brandon, and Zero puzzled over his identity. Shortly after, Zero received a call from their tech-savvy friend Pete, who unveiled the unsettling truth. Anna and her crew were colluding with Caspian. Worse, Dr. Zoran had covertly implanted a tracker on Lady Death's phone, enabling Caspian and Anna to monitor their every move. Faced with this breach of privacy, Lady Death shattered her phone, prompting Brandon and Zero to follow suit. However, the realization dawned that they hadn't informed Robert, raising potential complications. The next day, attempts to reach Robert remained futile, hinting at looming complications. During a coffee meeting with Pete, Robert grew concerned about the absence of updates from Brandon and the gang. Pete disclosed the intricate drama involving a tracking device hidden in their cell phones. Despite this revelation, Robert sensed an underlying unease and made the impromptu decision to head to Malta. Pete, with limited options, reluctantly agreed to accompany him. Simultaneously, Brandon's crew kept a vigilant eye on a suspicious car, suspecting it belonged to Anna's sidekick. Surprisingly, the sidekick was right beside their vehicle, triggering a high-stakes car chase with bullets flying. After intense moments, Zero skillfully halted Anna's sidekick. However, the mystery persisted. Despite smashing their phones, Anna still tracked them. Upon inspecting Lady Death's back, Zero and Brandon discovered an old gunshot wound, and upon investigation, found a discreet tracking device sewn into the stitches. The revelation unfolded that Dr. Zorn had surreptitiously planted it. While Lady Death tended to her wound and removed the elusive tracker, Brandon devised a swift plan to ensnare Anna's sidekick. The unsuspecting sidekick, guided by his phone's GPS, arrived at Lady Death's room in their hotel, only to find it empty. To his surprise, Brandon and the gang ambushed him. With Anna's sidekick neutralized, Lady Death seized his phone and reached out to Caspian. Proposing a face-to-face resolution without subterfuge, Lady Death and Caspian agreed to meet at an old beachside church the following morning. As Lady Death waited, Caspian's arrival with his crew triggered a chaotic turn of events. Anna's crew surrounded the church, capturing not only Lady Death, but also Brandon and Zero, who were covertly overseeing the situation. Caught without an escape route, the trio faced a perilous predicament. Forced to surrender, the captured group found themselves confined in a lavish palace, their captors intending to eliminate them. Simultaneously, Robert and Pete sped towards the escalating crisis on a boat, sensing that Brandon and the crew were in jeopardy. Intent on hacking into the palace's CCTV system to pinpoint the dangerous confrontation, Robert and Pete strategized their approach. Taking control of the cameras, Pete monitored the guards using his phone, while Robert skillfully dispatched them one by one. Separated from Lady Death, Brandon and Zero were held in another location guarded by formidable adversaries. In the palace, tensions peaked as Caspian confronted Lady Death for betraying him. The situation escalated dramatically when Caspian brandished a gun, aiming it at her. However, Lady Death swiftly incapacitated Anna and seized control of Caspian, altering the course of the unfolding crisis. Entering with Brandon and Zero as captives, the guards issued an ultimatum to Lady Death: release Caspian or witness harm befall her friends. Fearing for their safety, Lady Death reluctantly freed Caspian. However, as he attempted to escape, shots rang out. Enter Robert and Pete, disrupting the perilous scenario. Chaos ensued, igniting a fierce shootout. During the firefight, Pete, overwhelmed, sought refuge in an upper room, while Brandon and the crew relentlessly faced off against the guards. Lady Death, surprisingly contending with palace gardeners turned adversaries, fought her way through. Upstairs, Pete encountered Caspian, discovering his gun was devoid of bullets. Seizing the opportunity, Pete shot him. Simultaneously, Lady Death, seemingly cornered by guards, was rescued by Zero. As the gang regrouped, they ventured forth, determined to navigate through the escalating mayhem. As for Caspian, Pete had already dealt with him, prompting the gang to abandon him since the police were swiftly approaching. Fast forward to the next day, the group relaxed in leisure. While watching the news, they witnessed Caspian's arrest. However, Lady Death, who had stayed behind, unexpectedly shot him, resolving her unfinished business. The film concludes, leaving the audience with an ethical insight. Sometimes it's wiser to destroy your phone to evade tracking, but don't overlook the necessity of double-checking for hidden tracking devices in your body.